Hey everyone, it's your boy Reek, and welcome to another episode of Wrestling is My Thing podcast. I've got joining with me none other than my brother, my PIC, Nikki D.
Yo,
And then I
yo.
just wanted to say, really excited to have this guest on the show with me. If you don't know him, go check out Huge Pop Wrestling, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Welcome to the show, Huge Pop.
Yo, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Oh, not a problem, man. Just
Appreciate you.
love it.
Love you,
Yeah.
man.
And today,
Appreciate
we got Saturdays coming up. It's coming up too soon.
Yep.
So, those who don't know what we're talking about, WWE Money in the Bank 2023. So,
Right.
I wanted to go down and we have the first match I wanted to talk about was the women's tag team match. What I'll say mine last. Nikki D, let me run it by you. What are you thinking for this match? This Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler against Raquel and Liv.
I guess I'll say I could see them retaining, but I could also see them dropping the titles and this kind of working in a way to kind of set up a feud between those two, because that's kind of like the rumor that you're going to get Ronda and Baszler feuding against each other potentially down the road. So I can see it going both ways, but if they want to kind of set that up, see, they're always thinking like long term. So they could set that up now.
No, I want to add to that. Huge pop. What are you thinking on that one?
Okay, I agree with Nikki D. They need Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler need that feud. They need that heat. They need that hype because you're looking at two MMA fighters. If I'm correct, in Ronda and Shayna. I thought they should have had that feud a long time ago. You know, maybe like, in high school where you girlfriend or there's two girls that hate each other and then they beat each other up and then they're best friends. Okay. So maybe they should have started like with them losing the titles. They're just an odd group. I can't get into them, but I don't know. I don't think it'd be a bad idea for Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler to drop the titles. I think it'd be good to see Liv and Rodriguez win those titles, and I would be for that. So I'm going to pick Rodriguez and Liv.
Well, here's where I am kind of going with Ronda and Shayna. They're going to slowly start to Saturday night is going to build up the tension between those two. They're still going to win, but you're going to see that tension build up. And then maybe possibly at SummerSlam or maybe even Payback, that's when you'll see them going against each other. Yeah. Because I think they want to build it up more and more heat towards each, because right now they're clicking too well together.
And I'd have to agree with you, Rico, that that it would be way too soon to break those two up. I hate storylines that start like that. I can't stand it. There has to be some layers to it. You know what I'm saying? So that might be a good idea. I probably would say yeah to that. But I think eventually they need to break up eventually.
Mm-hmm. And while we're talking about those two teams, Nikki D, we were talking about this the other day. Raquel, what is your thoughts about like her, her single wrestling? Do you think she needs more time to kind of get pushed, or where do you think she stands at?
Where she is right now is kind of where she was in NXT, and she was great. But they did with her what they did with so many of the NXT stars that they bring up to the main roster. They took her and they gave her just this goofy smile and laugh all the time type, she wasn't this serious, mean, tough, like she wasn't taken seriously. And I hated that they did that to her. Now she's kind of going back to that serious competitor, like where she's always showing the back and she's just size, when she's standing up to other female competitors, you can see how much bigger she is. So I love her as a singles competitor. She has the size, you know, skill wise in the ring. I mean, I don't think she's bad. She probably could get better, but she will get better. So I like where she's at. I just think that it slowed her progress because when they brought her up, they gave her just this stupid gimmick, which I hate when they do that. They bring somebody up who's hot and then they give them a stupid gimmick, and then they're just they're floating around on the main roster with no meaning, no direction whatsoever. It's just
look at
horrible.
Amber Moon.
Oh, Ember Moon, dude, they ruined her. She was red hot, and then she just went up and she disappeared.
Yeah, she got to the main roster, and then it was like, "Where's Ember Moon? Where'd she go?"
Yeah,
and I think Rico and I were talking about on Tuesday, Karrion Kross.
Oh yeah,
he is so good. He is so good. To be what? To be nothing. And it just pisses me off because I'll take Raquel Rodriguez. She's a phenomenal star. Yeah, does she need more work? Sure. I think her size, her attitude, I think she'd be great against the likes of Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
She's big.
She's big. She's bigger, I think, than Rhea Ripley because they had that little. Yeah, you can see that she's bigger too. And Karrion Kross, huge pop. That's one of the perfect examples right there. A guy who was undefeated, and they brought him up on the main roster, and then they put him in a match, and was it Jeff Hardy? I think that beat him. Like, did Jeff need that? No. This guy. So you just made that entire run in NXT look like a joke. And you bring him up to the main roster, and what you do is you kill his credibility and you bury the character. And it's just, sometimes I would scream because I'm like, what is creative doing? They get these guys, and then you could see the difference where it was more Hunter that was working with NXT, grooming all these people, and then you bring them up, and then somebody else was getting a hold of them. I got a really good idea. Let's do this with you, or let's do that. And that was a painful one to watch. That was horrible.
Perfect example with that. We're going to bring you to the main roster, and you're going to be Max Dupree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're so scared. If you put yourself in their shoes, they're like, I have to make this work, right? Because everybody at one point or another, remember the Ringmaster? Not many people do.
Yes.
But a lot of people are given just a horrible idea, a horrible gimmick, and they're like, I have to make this work. If I don't make this work, I'm going to be out of here. And they'll just bring the next person in. And to his credit, he made that work, and eventually, he got to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, but not everybody can do that.
No. We had a guest on my show months ago, Duke the Dumpster Drozy. He said the same thing. He said the same thing. He goes, gimmicks were big back in the 80s. He goes, I had one of the dumbest gimmicks in the world, but it worked. So they didn't do nothing about it. But
my first teacher, because I had two different schools that I went to, and my first teacher had a horrible gimmick in WWE. It was WWF back then, but Bastion Booger. Bastion Booger was my first teacher, and he had the worst gimmick. He would come out eating those old ice cream bars and just was like this. But then when he went to WCW, he was Norman the Lunatic, much better gimmick. Which shocked me, but that was a much better gimmick. But again, you're right. That was the time where the gimmick was the thing. Terry Taylor was the Red Rooster. He came out like this. And everybody had a gimmick back then because I was like, whatever.
Doink the Clown.
Oh gosh.
Doink.
Doink was the scary clown in the beginning, and then they ruined him by making him all
right.
He was making kids cry. I was like, that guy's awesome. And then they turned him all goofy. And then there was Dink and Dink, whatever. Yeah, I was like, come on.
Well, Repo Man.
Oh, the old Smash. I remember what tripped me out when I realized that was Smash from Legion of Doom. I was like, no. But that was him. I liked Repo Man's. Yeah, I liked Repo Man's Did I say? I didn't say Demolition, did I? I said Legion of Doom.
You did say
Sorry.
Demolition. Yeah, come on now. Come on, Nikki D.
Did I? Okay, Demolition. Okay. I was like, man, mixing up my teams. But no, yeah. I liked Repo Man's gimmick though. But yeah, the gimmicks, like some of that stuff you have to leave. You know, you can't bring somebody up who, like, NXT isn't like just this little show. It's gotten big. People watch it. People know these stars. There are people who are fans of Raw and SmackDown that know who these guys and these girls are. So when you bring them up, why pretend that they're somebody else? Why do that? Because all you're doing is you're insult the intelligence of the fans.
Right.
Just bring them up the way they are.
Right.
Like we don't need to see Butch. Yeah, I hate that gimmick. Gosh, I hate that gimmick. Oh my gosh. But again, that's just that. Why are you doing that to us?
Right.
Like we don't know who he is.
Just give it time. Pete,
And I
will be
hope
back.
I hope they do not ruin Braun Breaker that way.
Oh yeah. I know.
I don't see that happening, hopefully. But
I hope not,
just
man.
because Hunter's mostly in charge, but look what's happening.
Mostly, but you can see you can kind of see the fingerprints of the OG.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of getting involved a little bit here and a little bit there. Just look at, you can tell when the segment when there's like some goofy segment or whatever, you're like, yeah, that's Vince.
Yep.
You can just tell.
Yep.
And I hope Vince doesn't go to London. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because I was telling Rico, we're talking about Money in the Bank. I was talking about telling Rico Tuesday, 2019's Money in the Bank when they COVID and they had to do that theatrical Money in the Bank, and they fought throughout the whole WWE office, up the stairs and Vince's office and to the top roof. And to me, it made a joke of it. And then all of a sudden, Otis wins it, and then that whole joke with Otis and Miz and them. And all this, I just lost. So when Rico said one of the biggest pay-per-views, I mean, to me, it needs to be a big pay-per-view this year because I lost all interest in Money in the Bank, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah. And didn't somebody like get shoved off the roof or thrown off the roof?
That was
and then
Baron Corbin tried throwing Rey Mysterio off.
Yeah.
I thought somebody did fall off the roof, and then like you saw them on Raw and they were fine.
Right.
It's like, come on. Yeah, that Money in the Bank was horrible to watch. It was just, it was, I get it. I get it. They were trying to do what they could, without the live audience and to make it interesting, but just, yeah, it was, remember the old King of the Ring tournaments? Like when the King of the Ring was like a pay-per-view, whoever won that, it meant something. That meant that person was getting a push. You knew it. And you could tell whoever that was, like when they were in that tournament and they won it, you're like, oh yeah, they're on their way. Like they're going to, and it always, well, not always, almost always worked for that individual. It didn't work for Billy Gunn, but it worked for like pretty much everybody else that won it. And the Money in the Bank is supposed to be like that. Supposed to be. So it needs to get its credibility back.
Yep, it does.
So let's talk about the next match. Gunther against Matt Riddle for the Intercontinental title. Now I gotta say, honestly, I just don't think Riddle's gonna win at all. Gunther's too hot, got too much of a push right now. It'll be a good match. Riddle does put on a good match, but Gunther's just gonna squash him. It's short and easy. Gunther's going to squash him. I
agree. It's like he was just like okay to me until I saw that triple threat match at WrestleMania, and I was like, "Dang, man, this guy is awesome." With him and Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, I marked out. He's good at what he does. Yeah, he's going to win. He'll win that match. Mm-hmm. Nothing against Riddle, but Gunther's, he's going to win.
Huge Pop, you think Gunther's got it?
You have a crazy little thing about that match, I think, and Matt Riddle's not going to win. Matt Riddle is going to be close to winning sometimes. Gunther he's hot, he's good. I love that WrestleMania match, the triple threat. That was badass. I
Mhm.
mean, every time you get Sheamus and Gunther and McIntyre in the ring, and then all the smacks across the chest, they gotta hurt. I'm so sorry, but
Oh.
he's a beast, and it's gonna take more than a guy with flip flops to beat Gunther. So maybe if he gets high before he comes, I don't know, but whatever. But I see what's gonna happen is it's gonna get really close to him winning, and there might be a resurgence of Randy Orton. And if he gets involved in that match, there could be a bump after the match against Gunther, and maybe that might set up a Gunther Randy Orton feud. I don't know. Makes sense to me. Randy Orton, in my opinion, needs to come back. I don't want him to come back too soon, but he needs to come back, and that would be one way to get him back.
And we talked about it the other day, Huge. I was saying how he needs to come back, because if you notice how Rhea always gets in the way of somebody coming after Dom and nobody touches her. I said Randy would RKO her just right there.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't care.
He don't give a shit.
He does not.
He would not care.
No.
Ask Stephanie how that works.
Yep.
Ask
Remember
Linda
when he,
McMahon.
chained up Triple H and he had her
Yeah.
and he DDT'd her off the
That
rope.
dude Orton doesn't care. He does
No.
not care.
And that's what Raw needs, or SmackDown needs. They need somebody like that. And what a great way to bring him back. Bring him to London, bring him interfere in that match, and let that.
Oh yeah. Oh, that would huge pop. Be a huge pop. They would lose it.
Yep.
They would absolutely lose it.
I'd lose my mind, man. Absolutely.
But do you think, because he's sorry,
No, go ahead.
Greek, I didn't mean to cut you off, but huge pop. Do you think that he would come back and that would set up a feud with Gunther, or do you think he could come back and possibly turn on Riddle, and that would set up something between those two? Because he's a Viper, man. You can never ever trust him.
I think you're gonna see him turn on Riddle. I think he's gonna RKO the hell out of Riddle in that match. And maybe he'll walk away and it'll be maybe that'll start Riddle and Orton. But Orton doesn't need a title. Orton doesn't need to be in a match against Gunther. He doesn't. What does he have to prove?
Nothing.
So a feud with Riddle would be good. It's a long time coming. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping the RK
bro, yeah.
I wish that would have never happened, because again, I'm not trying to hate on Riddle, but I just didn't. He's one of those guys that gets thrown into stupid storylines, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And that's where we go back to characters and then getting thrown into storylines that have no sense. You're just like, why are you doing this?
Why is he involved in Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? I didn't like that. I don't like it. But you might be right. If Orton comes back, it might set up for a short feud with Riddle. But eventually they're gonna probably push him into a title match with somebody.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's Randy.
Yeah.
I mean,
and like you said, he doesn't need it, but he's still a name, and he's a draw.
Absolutely.
He's a draw.
He's a draw, and
Yep.
Why not? His neck's. I think it's his neck that's busted up. He doesn't have. He's not getting any younger. He gets hurt, and he needs to be. If he needs to finish, let him finish. Maybe beat Riddle. Maybe have a feud with Riddle, and maybe give him a few months of a title that Seth Rollins is holding. And maybe do it that way. I don't know. But I think you're right. I think if he does come back, it could be a definite possibility of a feud with Matt Riddle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So speaking about a draw, next match, Cody Rhodes and Dom. Nikki D, take it away.
Oh my gosh. I wouldn't think in a million years that Cody Rhodes will lose to Dom, like at all. Can I see it happening? Anything's possible, but I think Cody's going to win. But there's always something, like there's always that chance, and there's something going on. There's just, I don't know. I want to there's part of me that thinks something could happen and he might go over. But then I don't want to see that either. Personally, I don't want to see that because Cody is still in this big picture, right? And there's like his story isn't done yet. And Triple H even alluded to that when he had that press conference when Cody didn't go over at Mania, and everybody was like, "What? Like, are you kidding me? Reigns is still champ?" Because everybody was like, "Hey, Cody's got it, man. The writing's on the wall." But there's something else that they're doing right here. So I think, as cool of a heel as Dominic is right now, I don't think that Cody could take that loss. You know what I mean? There's no way. I'm not even going to say a chance. He wins that match. Dude, if he swept his series with Seth Rollins but loses to Dominic Mysterio, I'm going to be a little annoyed. Honestly. Like, yeah, that's my answer. It's a long answer, but that's my answer.
Huge Pop, what you thinking on this one?
What I want to happen is Cody Rhodes win. Cody Rhodes needs to win. He lost at WrestleMania. Sure, it was not his fault because there's interference. Mm-hmm. Has he won a match since he's gotten back at a pay-per-view? I don't think so.
At a pay-per-view? Yeah, against Seth. What pay-per-view was that? Where they wrestled in the pit match. What was it? I'm trying to remember the pit match. But,
since he's been back after WrestleMania, I don't know.
Oh, after WrestleMania.
Or summer, or wherever. Anyways, he needs to win. He really does. But I hate the story. I hate where they put Cody Rhodes when he came back. I mean, I could go on a long tangent about Cody Rhodes. He was misused, in my opinion. They brought him back to chase the big dog. And what do? They throw him in and they get he gets involved with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and the Usos and all that crap. And never was against Roman Reigns. It was to help Sami Zayn and KO. And then all of a sudden Brock Lesnar shows up. And now instead of going towards Roman Reigns again, we got Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar and him go back and forth against each other, beat the hell out of each other. And now we left that as, I think it's tied 1-1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, so now, would it surprise me if Cody Rhodes got beat? No. Why? Because you got Dom as probably one of the second or third best heel in the business. And it would be good for Dom to win. It would be good to see him get pushed, but he's not going to do it without Rhea Ripley for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I don't want him to win, because be a man, dude. Grow yourself a pair of panties and do it yourself. That's what your dad said. And I love the heat. I mean, some of the stuff that Cody Rhodes said to Dom was remarkable, was intense, was insane. You know, my favorite line was when they were, I think last week, and Cody Rhodes said something like, if you were half the man as your dad was, or I've seen your dad has made many, many mistakes. And he turned that Dom and said, and you're one of them.
Yep.
Looking at one.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful storyline. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sad it has to end because where are you going to go with Dom next? Unless he wins.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say Dom wins. They're going to give Cody Rhodes their loss.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm going, but there's going to be a twist with it. The reason why Dom's going to win is because the Beast is going to come back and lay out Cody, because they have unfinished business that keeps getting brought up, but nobody's really seen Brock.
Yep.
And I got a feeling, because they got a tiebreaker coming up, and I got a feeling that Brock's going to come and just lay him out, and Dom's going to win.
You know, that'd be great build. I think they're planning on doing the third match at SummerSlam, or Backlash or whatever. And that'd be great.
Yeah, that would work.
That would work.
That'd be the one way that he could get it done.
He
would obviously need help, but
You help
Yep.
Dominic win, and you get that push for the Brock and Cody final match.
And Brock is that guy. He's a beast, right? So I don't think that hurts Cody. If he interferes, that doesn't
No.
hurt Cody's credibility. So yeah, I like that actually.
No, and Cody Rhodes is one of those guys. Whatever happens, Seth Rollins, same thing. I could name like Roman Reigns. If he lost, he lost. It wouldn't hurt him. He's Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Mhm.
Cody Rhodes, he's lost several times since he's been back in WWE. It's not going to hurt him. He makes storylines better,
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I think Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes would be down the road. It'd be great.
Yep, and
Yeah.
I agree.
I
That's why
agree.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I want to see that. So, the women's ladder match. Who do we got? What? Becky, Zoe, Zelina, Bailey, Io, Trish. I've already said this to Huge Pop already. I'm going with Io Sky, unless the only way Io does not win is if Bailey interrupts her. That is the only way Io doesn't win this. I think she's getting a push. They're starting to push her, or maybe they'll build this feud between her and Bailey. But I really think Io's going to take this one. Maybe people out there agree with me. Maybe they don't. Said Nikki D, what you?
Sorry, you cut out for a second there. Were you asking me?
I just said, what are you thinking?
Of everybody in that match, originally I want to say it's being hyped like Becky's going to win, but Io Sky, if you just look at the way that they reacted to her when she had her title match against Bianca, and she worked her butt off in a losing effort, I'm looking at her as possibly the one that's going to go over. I don't think Bailey's got that. I mean, that can eliminate some of the people. Or Trish, I don't think is going to. I don't think Zoe's going to. I don't think Becky's going to because she doesn't need it. So you work your way through. I think it comes down to Becky. I think somehow it comes down to Becky and Io Sky. That's how I'm envisioning the end of that match, and she goes over.
Gotcha.
Not Becky.
Huge Pop.
Io Sky. That's who I have.
I've been talking to Rico Tuesday. My initial instinct would say Becky Lynch. I love Becky Lynch. She's a badass, and but like you said, Nikki D, she don't need it. She doesn't need that title. Or doesn't need the Money in the Bank. Zoe Stark, no, it's too soon for her. She's phenomenal. She's built like a brick. I love what she's doing with Trish. I love that segment. How she came out and caused Becky Lynch to whatever. So there's feuds that can happen with those three, Trish and Becky and Zoe. Since you've said what you said, Rico and Nikki D, and I've thought about it, and what we need to get rid of Damage Control. So why not give the belt or the Money in the Bank to Io Sky with the possibility of Bailey trying to interfere, trying to help her, but she messes up, and Io Sky gets pulled over because she is a phenomenal worker. That match, like you were talking about, that match with Bianca Belair, unbelievable.
Yep.
She earned it. So I guess after listening to you guys, Io Sky earned it. She's just she's a workhorse, and
yep,
she does. And would she be able to go against? Do I think it's logical she'd go up against Rhea Ripley to choose that belt? I would hope not, because she'll get crushed.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, but. So I guess my first choice would be Becky Lynch, but she doesn't need it. So I'll jump on the bandwagon, the Io Sky bandwagon, and say Io Sky.
But what about little Zelina? because we can't like look at the past couple of years. I mean, look at the Alexa Blisses, the Liv Morgans, the smaller girls getting up there and getting that briefcase. So you kind of can't really eliminate her. She don't really have any kind of push right now,
Right.
but
Yeah, but well, it depends on who is. I guess it depends on who's booking that match.
That's true.
Because it would, you think about it, you want that to get hype, right? Whoever wins that, that's something you look forward to. Oh, they're going to cash it in. They're going to cash it in. And there have been people that have won in the past where you're like, why? They would win the Money in the Bank. Like I think of Carmella. I'm like, she's a horrible worker, but she got it, and then she cashed it in, and I just was scratching my head. I'm like, come on.
she waited so long to cash that in.
I know, and I don't think I would. Zelina Vega, she's all right. I'm not saying she's a bad worker. I just don't see her. I don't think. I think it's if she did, they would be like, well, maybe she would get a pop. I don't know, but not. I don't think it'd be this on the same level of Io Sky. The Io Sky has showed it, and she's. Hey, compare the matches, right? Right? Io Sky had her match against Bianca, and then at the what was it, Backlash, where Zelina Vega got to fight Rhea Ripley. You just look, and it's not that was a bad match. It's just Rhea carried it.
Right.
That's just my opinion. Yeah, Io's more ready.
Now on that, I have to bring up the fact of what happened on Monday Night Raw in the back with Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. When Becky Lynch made reference to the title of her not needing it. I can't remember what she said exactly.
Sorry.
What was it? Go ahead.
She said, you sit there and just carry around this title, pretty much not word for word, but you just walk around and carry this title where I defended it at every main event.
Yeah, you're all you are is a side piece at every pay-per-view.
There you go.
You've never main evented a pay-per-view. All you are is a side piece to the main event. Now, somewhere down the line, I hope that they can get a feud going, or I hope that's the start of that. Now, could she? Was that enough to get her over and win the Money in the Bank so that can escalate more, or would they wait? So that's a toss-up, guys. I want to say Io Sky because she's the younger girl, the one that has earned their way up here. Then you got Becky Lynch has been here forever. It seems like forever. She deserves a spot too, so I might have to change my mind. I'm going to change my mind to Becky Lynch based on what happened on Monday Night Raw. So,
no, and I mean, you made a good point, like because it seems like they're trying to build something there, but like I just you see it in the works with it. We were talking about the matches. Io just getting that push, and then you see how her and Bayley are really not seeing eye to eye.
Right, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match: Ricochet, L.A. Knight, Shinsuke, Santos, Nikki D's favorite, Butch, Damian Priest, and Logan Paul. I just had to throw that Butch in there because I know you hate that gimmick.
That gimmick so much.
Horrible.
But did you see the picture where he had the belt, like Pete Dunne had the belt and holding it in his mouth and he said, remember.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, is that a sign he's going back?
I don't mean to keep kicking up old dirt, but he had a match on the main roster as Pete Dunne. Like we saw it. I think it was Survivor Series. Come on, man. I hate that they did that. Called him Butch against Adam Cole, which is still one of the most unbelievable matches. So amazing. That match, I jumped off the couch like multiple times. Like, are you kidding me? But anyway, I don't think he's going to win. All signs point to LA Knight. They really do.
Yep.
They really do. I mean, they really do. I honestly,
Let me talk to you.
I-
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
yeah,
I see that stupid
I-
I see the stupid TikTok that they put. There's a song they played. He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but, so.
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead, Nikki D. Sorry, finish up.
What's that?
Go ahead, finish up. Were you done? Or I didn't want to interrupt you. I kind of did.
No, I was done. All I was going to say was I look at everybody else in that match and I try to find another winner that would make more sense than LA Knight. And I just can't. I think he makes the most sense. He makes the most sense for like that build up. He just makes the most sense to me.
Well, see,
Doesn't mean it'll happen, but that's who I think makes the most sense.
well, one of the guy I'd like to win just because he's one of my top favorite wrestlers is Santos, but I don't see that happening. You know, he doesn't have that push right now.
No.
He's good, but he doesn't have that push right now,
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
where I got to agree with you. I felt like a month ago, LA Knight's going to take that Money in the Bank, and then they decided we're throwing Logan Paul in there. I'm like, okay, so now you're just messing with us, you know, like because Logan Paul gets so much heat on him.
Yeah.
But and what was that huge Poppy said to him? That LA Knight said to Logan something about 14-year-old girls
Oh,
Something
you're
is your only media followers.
Yeah.
your social media following. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. He has great mic skills. I mean, he's probably one of the best out there. Not Logan Paul, but LA Knight.
Mhm.
He's easy on the mic. I mean, he doesn't have to. He don't. You know, he knows he goes off the script. Whatever. He can just freestyle that, and he's just amazing.
Yeah, they don't have to write his content for him.
No.
Yeah, he can come out and do it on his own.
Right.
And I'm glad they let him do it on his own.
Right.
There's only a select few that they'll let do that because they know that they can control the crowd.
Right.
Yeah, you got to earn it. You got to earn it.
Mhm.
Right.
Logan Paul, he has shocked me. I will say this about he has shocked me about how well he has done.
Yes.
How good he's like naturally good in the business. He can talk. He can
Yes.
work. Every time I watch him, I'm like, are you kidding me, man? This is a YouTuber, but he is a natural at it, man.
Yeah.
He's a natural.
That collision him and Ricochet had, I think it was
Royal
SummerSlam
Rumble.
or Royal
It was the
Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
That was sick. I was like, what?
Yes.
I was like,
Yep.
holy cow! I came off the couch for that one. Whoa! That was
Just to watch that, like,
that's probably one of the hot spots of that whole pay per view. Was that
well, that's a highlight for sure. That's a highlight.
Right.
And he's not even been doing it that long, so that's the thing. He's just like he's a natural, man. He's really, really good. I don't see him again. To me, when I look at that, all the praise I can give him, it doesn't make sense for him either in that match. So,
but what about Damian Priest?
I was just gonna say that Rick. Now my pick would be LA Knight. It makes sense.
Mhm.
But if we're talking storylines, okay, I'm gonna go back to my winner of Finn Balor, Seth Rollins. This is where my pick makes sense. Okay, Finn Balor can beat Seth Rollins to get the title. There's friction going to be happening between the Judgment Day. Damian Priest and Finn have been looking at each other like, you know, you're crazy and all this stuff. Why can't we give Damian Priest, who's earned it? He's great. He's a great singles, person. My idea would break up Judgment Day 100%. Except now Judgment Day would now be Rhea Ripley and Dom Dom. And now we got Damian Priest cashing in on Seth Rollins. On Finn Balor, it could be that night. You win the Money in the Bank. You wait for your buddy or you're not so much buddy anymore. get tore the shreds, because that match between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor are going to be one hell of a match. Those boys are going to be tired.
Yep.
They're going to be exhausted. They're going to be hurt. Whatever. Down comes the run down does the aisle way, comes Damian Priest, cashes in that Money in Bank, and now we have Damian Priest as new world champion. I'm going to say Damian Priest is going to win that, as much as that hurts me, because I want LA Knight, but LA Knight, again, is one of those guys that give him another few months. He doesn't need that title right now. He's going to get that title.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a couple more months, and maybe let's have him take out Damian Priest at SummerSlam.
Okay, I see that. But look, since you brought up Damian Priest and kind of Finn, let's look at two other options. Damian wins.
Right.
And then let's say Seth goes ahead and beats Finn. But then Damian cashes in, and Finn interrupts him and stops him from beating Seth.
Yeah, that would keep the belt on Seth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it will start that feud between Damian and Finn.
Yeah. But Seth doesn't really need the belt.
No,
Right.
he doesn't.
And that pay-per-view needs a big-ass ending. Roman, as much as I don't want them to put Roman Reigns and Sikoa and the Usos in the main event, it'd be nice to see a cash in at the main event. And if Damian Priest cashes in on Finn Balor, that way it'd give Money in the Bank a huge pop.
Oh yeah.
But I see what you're saying, Rick.
Well, what about the second way? If we remember when Seth cashed in and made it a triple threat with Brock and Roman.
Yeah.
And Damian could do that, make it a triple threat, and end up winning, taking the belt himself.
Right. That possibility too.
He could, but I like it. Oh gosh, I really like that. I like what I love what Huge Pop said. If Damian goes over, Finn Balor wins, and he's just tore up. And then Damian catch, because Damian's awesome. God, I wish you wouldn't have put that in my head, because now I want that to happen, because that to me would be even bigger. As over as LA Knight is, he doesn't really need to win the Money in the Bank, but that would be like insane. That would almost definitely kill a faction right there. And then it would start this whole new friction and all this stuff. And then you have like Dominic, Dom and Mommy, because basically it's those two kicking it together most of the time anyway. So they would be together and everybody else would be like scattered, and that would be crazy. I want that to happen. I want that to happen instead.
That's
really the ending I want
to see that.
Yeah, that's the ending I want.
Right. And we were talking about that the other day on Tuesday, where you pretty much are just seeing Judgment Day wise Rhea and Dom. They came out to assist Damian. You really didn't need it.
Yeah.
And you didn't see Finn at all. The past 2 weeks, you have not seen Finn with the Judgment Day.
No, he comes out himself. So yeah, that would be perfect. Because then it would give that faction a reason to like just implode. Right. But then you would set up all these sweet little storylines at the same time. So yeah.
Well, so talking about that, I mean, that flows right into the next match, Finn and Seth. Do you guys really see Seth losing that belt so quickly? He doesn't need the belt at all. But do you see them going ahead and be like, you know what, Seth, you don't need that belt. We're going to take it.
Yeah, because he's lost it quickly before.
He did.
And I'm not talking about when he got hurt, when he had the knee injury. But he legitimately lost the belt quick before. It's just, I don't think Seth, certainly I think he needed it more then than he does now. He doesn't need it now. He's Seth freaking Rollins without that title. The dude had like the double, part of like the double main event, when he worked with Cody, when Cody made his comeback. Like he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. So I absolutely can see him losing. Finn needs it. He needs that push. But then that makes me want Damian to cash in and take it from him. And then that kills Finn's push a little bit, but I don't know.
Well, I mean,
There's so many different ways.
For sure, I'm going with Seth. That's just me because I love him.
Well,
Huge pop, man. Well, you kind of already said what you believe. Finn win.
I think Seth's got a lot going on. Seth is good. Seth is good without a title. He had the crowd before I mean, dude, let's face it. If you can come down in red moon boots, you don't need a title. You don't need a title. If you can come down with sheer clothing on, you don't need a title. He is like I told Rick, he's the drip god of wrestling. That boy can wear a garbage bag and it look good, right?
Yeah.
And he's Seth freaking Rollins, dude. And it was nostalgic to have Triple H present the belt to him as the first title holder. I mean, with the feud and the beef between Triple H and Seth and all that, you know, when he turned on the
Shield.
When he turned on the Shield and it was Triple H, you know.
Yep.
So that was cool to see.
Oh yeah.
But if it lasted 3 months, it lasted 3 months. It doesn't matter. And he could walk away and be good with it. Finn, on the other hand, he could use the push. But I see what Nikki D said, you know, if you give the push to Finn and immediately, because you got two guys, you got Damian Priest and you got Finn that need a push. They need it bad.
True.
Yep.
Because without Judgment Day, they're garbage. They're nothing. No one will remember. They're not garbage because they're good talent, but take away Judgment Day, what are you going to do with them?
Yep.
Damian Priest needs a reason to improve. And as a third party of Judgment Day, he's just there, you know, and he's a better singles competition person than what they're letting him do. I just think it's going to open up a bunch. If I'm a storyline writer, which I'm not, I'm just a casual wrestling fan. If I'm a storyline writer, I would say Seth loses, Finn Balor wins, Damian Priest catches in. They could do it. Seth Rollins wins, Damian Priest causes Finn Balor to lose, and then then they got a whole feud with Finn Balor and Damian Priest after Priest wins the Money in the Bank or whatever. But I'm gonna go with my boy Finn Balor.
Gotcha. No, I mean, all really good points. It could go either way. We know that.
Good. Yep.
We've seen so many surprises before.
Oh yeah.
You just never know.
Absolutely.
So now, the Bloodline, the Civil War. We already know it's going to be the main event. Me and Huge Pop talked about this, and this is just my theory. One or two things is going to happen. Solo's going to turn on Roman and be with his brothers. Or the Usos will win by pinning Solo, not Roman, because Roman won't take a pin. So, but I see the Usos winning this. Either way, I see them winning. Because it's a tag team match. It's not a singles match. It doesn't hurt Roman's singles credibility.
Correct. I think it's too fast for Solo to, personally, my opinion. It's still too soon. But I don't know. I thought it was too soon. Well, actually, no. Yeah, I thought it was too soon to have the friction with the Usos and Roman and then Jay and all that stuff. But then again, that's been going on for a while. So everything they're doing is gold. It's all, the timing is perfect. The stuff with Sammy, because I was like, they can't do that. I don't want to see this end. But it works. It's perfect. I think the Usos go over. But I kind of don't think I don't see Solo being the cause. You know, I don't see him turning on Roman. Not yet. Because Roman's a jerk, and it's coming. It's coming. But again, he'll just be one of the last ones to do it, right? Because then he just has the wise man. You know what I mean? So I I think it's coming eventually, but personally, I don't think it's going to happen there.
If you look at it, I mean, it started off with just him and the wise man. So
Correct.
it can go right back to that and be just fine.
So many years
Correct.
ago. That seems like so many years ago. He came back after being injured or whatever into that locker room and with the wise men, and they had it out to their. Didn't he cash in something, or didn't he? I think he did something. How did he come back?
He came back and he went against Braun Strowman and I believe Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he ended up pinning Bray and taking the belt back.
Right.
Yep.
And I love how he was able to come back, kind of like, because just watching the interviews and the backstage talk, that was what he wanted to do, was just let him do what he wanted to do, be himself. And they let him do it, and it's just gold.
Yeah.
And you put Heyman in the mix, one of the smart, I don't care if you love him, hate him, he's one of the smartest men in wrestling.
Absolutely. 100%.
Genius. Absolute genius. I love that guy. Love him. Love his mind. But he doesn't have to do all the mic work like he did with Brock. True. Because Roman improved like his skills and everything all this time on the mic and everything. So he's way better now. It just took him time to get there. Like, they were trying to push him all that time, and they kept shoving him down our throats. And like, this is the guy. And the crowd's like, he's garbage. We don't want to see him. And then you had Cena chew him up and spit him out.
Oh, my favorite. I'm still here because you can't do your job.
And he wasn't wrong.
Right.
And he wasn't wrong.
But so huge pop. What you thinking on that match, man?
This match, it can go so many different ways. So many different ways.
I got home so late.
I don't feel like it's. I don't know. I want the Usos to win. I really do. I love Roman Reigns. I'm a Roman Reigns guy. I love his work. I love what he's doing. I love what they're doing with him. I could see him being a champ till next WrestleMania. I want the record to be broke. My brother hates me for that. He hates Roman Reigns. I love him. But I think they said what got me to say this was the Usos were in the ring and talking to Roman Reigns. Of course, he wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. And they talked about Paul Heyman being the snake in the room. They see it. I think Solo sees it. And I don't know if Roman Reigns realizes it. But if the Usos win, it's going to be because of Paul Heyman. I got my cell phone texting everybody and their brother. We're missing something, guys. I think he's talking to somebody. Whether it be, so this is probably way out there, not even possible. Whether it be Rikishi or who it is. Well, I think you're going to see somebody come to help the Usos of some sort, or Paul Heyman's going to cause something to go wrong, and maybe not. Oh yeah, maybe it is Roman Reigns that gets pinned, or maybe it's Solo that gets pinned. And when Solo gets pinned and Roman Reigns sees this Paul Heyman mess up, there's now going to be really big cracks in the bloodline. Is it too soon for him to lose? Yeah, it might be better at SummerSlam or something at a bigger pay-per-view. But it's not going to hurt him if he loses. If he doesn't get pinned. But it might be too soon for the Usos to win because this feud needs to go on some more. I love the feud between the Usos and Roman Reigns and Solo. So I loved it. I loved the feud with Sami Zayn. That's one thing that WWE did right in the last 6 months.
And the ratings prove it.
Right. Let's sound reek. Why do you tune into Friday Night SmackDown? Because you want to see what happens with the bloodline. And I'm sorry.
Yep.
I love Roman Reigns. I acknowledge him. But when you're a part-timer showing up at twice a month? And the Usos are there on a daily basis? Civil War is what it's going to be. It might not even have a winner. I could see it going to a draw.
Yeah. Count
I
out.
could, because
Yeah.
something bad happens. So I'm going
And
to
they
say
got to build it up.
there's no winner. There's not. You're not going to get a winner, and that's the way. That's in my opinion. That's a one way to keep this feud going.
Well,
I
either
like
way, if you
that.
look at it, like even if the Usos did happen to, like, say, pin Solo,
Yeah.
and they win, the feud would still go on because Roman would get so mad and be like, "You didn't pin me," you know.
Right. I just think it's going to be a disqualification of some sort. No one's going to win. That's going to be a smart way to protect Roman Reigns, and it'd be a smart way to continue this feud into maybe SummerSlam. I would not go to the next pay-per-view with the. I mean, yeah, you could tease it a little bit, but I would definitely end it somehow big in SummerSlam.
So speak.
Huge pop saying sorry when he said that Paul Heyman, the wise man, does something possibly that messes it up. That's genius. Have you contacted WWE at all about like writing their stuff for them?
No,
because
dude.
this is perfect.
Weekly
perfect.
basis, I get so frustrated at the writers. But I've learned that I'm not a writer. I'm just a casual wrestling fan, and that's just my opinion on what I want to see as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but as most fans would agree with you, like I agree with you, that would be perfect because then they're looking at Paul, and then the Usos are still like, "See, we told you," and then you could have it go. You could milk it basically even longer.
Have Roman Reigns' dad come down and say, "Look, dude, look at the wise man. He's the problem here."
Mm-hmm.
The Rock will show up. Look, dude, this guy's the problem. He was a problem when I was wrestling. He's still the problem.
Yep.
Wake yourself up, bro, and fix the bloodline. Because I was telling Reek this. I don't think the bloodline is over.
Oh no.
It's one of those family things, and Jay said it remarkably. He is so good. So is Jimmy on the mic in the ring. Jay said, he goes, "Dude, we love you. Roman, we love you. We have your back. We'll have your back."
Mm-hmm.
If you pay attention to the words that Jay Uso and Jimmy are saying, all fingers point to one person.
Yep.
The person messing it up is Paul Heyman.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's why I take what I take. That's why I have that hot take about that, because it's not done. And the snake is Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
And he's great, dude. He is one of the best. I mean, I put him up there with Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Absolutely.
Jim Cornette.
Absolutely.
Those guys are just geniuses.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like,
that's my take.
Paul's the man. He really is the man.
Now, it took me a while to get used to Paul. I hated him with Brock Lesnar. I couldn't stand him. Here's a prediction. It's not a spoiler. Shut up.
Yeah.
I actually really started liking Paul the ECW days.
Yes, great.
Because that's why I started paying attention to him. I was like, man, I really like this guy. And then when he came WWE, and when he was with Brock, I was like, you could just tell like he's that evil, snarly demon in the background. He's like, tear him apart. You know,
I remember the stuff that he did with CM Punk too.
Yep.
Because it was him and Brock, and then him and CM Punk like set everything on fire too.
Yep.
So he's good, really good at what he does.
Remember CM Punk with the whole? I think he was with Heyman at the time when he took Taker's urn. He was talking smack to him.
Oh yeah, yep.
That was genius.
I just think whoever Heyman's with, he uplifts them. Like, he'll talk for them, or they can talk themselves, and he just uplifts them.
And I mean, he's been with Roman Reigns for 2 or 3 years, right?
Since 2019.
Right. So
yep.
It's about time.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman needs somebody else to be his person. And I could name a few. I mean, shoot, Braun Breaker would be great. Have him. I mean, LA Knight, who doesn't need him on the mic because LA Knight's a genius.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that could use a Paul Heyman, and Roman Reigns, he's solidified what he's got to do, and maybe we'll see Paul Heyman. Which is why that my story might not make any sense or work. Is Roman Reigns is going to get to WrestleMania as a champion. He's going to be the champion come WrestleMania, and so that means he's got to have somebody for the next 10 months be with him, unless he doesn't. So, but I would love to see them. I would love to see Paul Heyman be the cause of them losing.
I agree.
That's my take.
I agree.
Well, kind of like when Heyman helped Roman make Brock lose.
Right.
I thought, he's back with Brock. He's going to stay there. And then I'm like, something's not sitting right. And then, boom, helps Roman out.
That's where he tossed the belt into the ring, right?
Yep, and Roman hit Brock, and then Lashley pinned Brock and got the belt.
Yep.
So. Let's end it on this topic. Who do you guys see Roman going against at SummerSlam? Because there's talks he's supposed to wrestle at SummerSlam. Right now, the way the stories go, I don't see anybody besides Seth Rollins.
I was gonna say if Seth goes, if he goes over, so if the cool idea, the cool storyline plot that Huge Pop had doesn't happen, and Seth retains and somebody else wins, Money in the Bank and all that stuff, right? And everything's just normal. You could have that with them. But I think Roman still retains going into Mania. But those two can duke it out. I guess I see that at SummerSlam. It has to be a draw. Whatever it is, it's got to be a draw. If he still has, okay, so here's the thing. If Seth still has that belt and Roman takes that one too, which would make USA irate, right? But if he gets that one too, and then he carries all of them into Mania, because you got to think that'd be too long. That'd be too long, because WrestleMania is like what April?
Yeah,
March or April. So, and then
10 months. And then
SummerSlam is August.
Yeah, so you got November, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. You got 8 months now.
Oh yeah, USA would lose it. Nope, that won't happen.
How about if Finn beats Seth? Seth would be genius to start feuding with Brock or with Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great. I mean, sure, it's Raw versus SmackDown, but I think WWE can get over that. You can have that feud. That'd be a great feud to have with Seth. And Seth, like you said, Nikki, doesn't have to win at SummerSlam. But if you start a build-up at SummerSlam with Seth Rollins, now you're looking at September. So you got October, November, December, January, February, March. You only have 6 months. And that could be a great storyline build-up. Just Seth Rollins being a thorn in Roman Reigns' behind for that long. And he can do that. He can be annoying.
Yes.
Or if LA Knight wins the Money in the Bank, LA Knight, in my opinion, could challenge Roman Reigns. He'd be one of the logical people to challenge Roman Reigns and maybe try to cash it in, and he doesn't. But I'd hate for him not to cash in and be successful. So, but yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. I don't said that.
Yeah.
I said that was going to be the last topic, but I just got to ask, why are we not seeing Austin Theory in this Money in the Bank? He doesn't have a match at all.
You don't want my opinion. Because WWE's smart. How about that?
Because Triple H doesn't believe in him like Vince did. I don't know.
Vince babied him like, oh, here. Like, that was ridiculous.
Like Cena said, they have to pump in fake crowd noise for your matches.
That was epic. I love that.
He killed him right there. Just buried him. I still don't know if he's going to ever come back from that.
But you know who's going to
He
beat
went
Roman?
over.
I'm going to tell you who's going to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania in 2024. MJF.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's a
Really?
bold prediction right there.
That is very bold.
The only
His contract's
reason
coming up.
The only reason why that won't happen will be Maxwell Jacob Freeman saying, I am not going to someplace that won't let me be free on the mic like AEW, because AEW, TNT, or whatever they're at, they don't they don't put filters on these guys. These guys can cuss and do whatever they want to do. He's gonna lose that when he comes to WWE. And I don't want to see him lose that. That's what his style is. The best heel in the making. He's great at it, and him coming to WWE would ruin him, in my opinion. But he's talking about taking the ball and going home, or whatever. And so,
how many times has he mentioned it now?
What is the contract war of 24?
That would be insane if that happened. That would be insane. And it would be huge. That would be huge. That it would almost pretty much bury AEW. Like, just Cody Rhodes, watching him come back when he showed up in that match for Seth, which was the worst kept secret in wrestling, but just to see it happen, and to see him get to keep the American Nightmare gimmick and the same music, which Vince doesn't ever license music, ever. And he got to keep all that and come out to the ring. And that's how you treat a star right. And he came back. He didn't get punished at all for all that stuff. He came back and was just welcomed with open arms. Oh, dude.
Yep.
That I watched AEW die a little bit that night. And if MJF showed up, forget about it. Like,
I mean, they still got good people, but MJF leaves.
Well, they have great people over there, but they don't tell stories like the WWE does. Cody, and that's a fact. And Cody Rhodes even said it. They don't have the stories, right?
Yep.
Like the WWE does. They just don't.
Their stories last 2 weeks?
Yeah, that's it.
The only good story getting built up right now is MJF and Adam Cole. Like,
gosh, I miss Adam Cole.
Baby.
He's genius. That boy is
genius. I love that guy. Triple H never let him come up to the main roster. You know they were let's bring him up. That Adam Cole guy's ready. And Triple H's like, no, he needs to stay in NXT a little longer. He's still a little green. Let's leave him down there, because he knew what would have happened, man.
Yep.
He would have got buried.
On Tuesday's show, I played a clip for Rika here, and it was MJF talking to Adam Cole, and he used the same exact words that Adam Cole used against Karrion Kross, right?
Yep, it was Karrion.
To Karrion Kross. So MJF spoke exactly the same words that Adam Cole spoke to Karrion Kross when he left NXT. It's a video about that up there, and I'll have to send it to Rico so he can share it with it. It was perfect.
Yeah, remember when Adam Cole said, "You know what they do to make Adam Cole special? They ring the freaking bell." And MJF said the exact same.
Oh man, I gotta watch that.
It was just genius.
It was like a dagger to him, man.
It was genius.
I'll find the video of Adam Cole or MJF saying that to him, and I'll. And Huge Pop will send me his too. I'll send it to you.
It was genius.
Oh, I'd love to watch that.
It was remarkable.
Yep. Oh, it's getting late, fellas. I didn't realize the time. We got to talking over here.
Yeah.
Well, Huge Pop, man. I appreciate you coming on board. Thank you so much, Nikki D. Always
love to do it, man. Love to do it. I mean, if you invite me, I'll come on. Thursdays work for me.
Yeah. Yep, we'll start getting this going on more and more. We just gotta get Nikki D, put him in a headlock, drag him on.
Yeah.
All right, to everyone out there, man, we appreciate you watching. Take it easy. Be good.